My name is Ryan Mitchell, and for 10 years, I thought I was married to the most loyal woman on earth. My wife, Elena, was the kind of person everyone admired, warm, responsible, the picture of stability. We met in college, built our careers side by side, and eventually bought a small home together. To the outside world, we were perfect. Inside, I believed we were unbreakable. But that illusion shattered the day I learned my wife had been living a double life. It started with something small, an unfamiliar name flashing on her phone while she was in the shower. Dylan. The message read, "Last night was perfect. Can't stop thinking about you." My first instinct was denial. Maybe it was a joke, maybe a colleague, maybe something innocent. But a part of me, a quiet, trembling part, knew better. I'd seen her smiles fade when I entered the room, noticed the new perfume she wore only when she went to the gym, and how she guarded her phone like it contained state secrets. That night, I didn't confront her. I just watched. I watched how she kissed me goodnight but turned away right after. How she hummed as she texted under the covers, pretending to scroll social media. I barely slept. The next day, when she left for her meeting, I followed her. My heart pounded so loudly I could hear it echo in my ears. She didn't go to her office. She drove across town to a quiet cafe and parked. A man in a leather jacket approached her car. They kissed. I froze. My wife, the woman who'd promised me honesty and forever, kissed another man in broad daylight. My hands trembled so badly I could barely hold my phone steady to take pictures. She'd told me once, if we ever stop trusting each other, it's over. And now, that sentence haunted me. I didn't confront her right away. Instead, I hired a private investigator. I needed proof, not emotion. Over the next 2 weeks, the investigator uncovered what I never could have imagined. Elena wasn't just cheating. She was living an entirely separate life. She had a rented apartment under a fake name, credit cards I never knew about, and a second phone. On weekends when she said she was visiting her sick mother, she was with him. The reports were detailed: dates, times, receipts, photos. The life she built with me was just one version of herself. The other one belonged to Dylan. When I finally confronted her, she didn't even deny it. "Ryan," she said quietly, "I didn't plan it to happen this way." She looked tired, not guilty. That was the moment I realized this wasn't just a mistake, it was a choice. She'd built a second world and chosen to live in it without me. I laid the evidence on the table: pictures, bank statements, rental agreements. Her hands shook as she looked at them, her face paling. "You were never supposed to find out," she whispered. "You were my stability. He was my escape." Those words hit harder than any slap. I'd been reduced to a safety net, her insurance against loneliness, her backup plan in case her other life collapsed. I left the house that night with a small suitcase and a silence that burned louder than any argument. She called, texted, even showed up at my workplace in tears, begging me to listen. "I'll fix everything," she cried. "But you can't fix something that was built on deceit." The truth had already destroyed the foundation. Divorce came swiftly. She tried to negotiate, begged me not to tell her family. I didn't have to. The truth has a way of spreading, even when you stay silent. Her parents stopped talking to her when they learned about the lies. Dylan disappeared, leaving her to face the wreckage alone. I rebuilt my life slowly. Therapy helped. Friends I'd neglected reminded me that losing a liar isn't a loss, it's freedom. Still, sometimes at night, I remember her laugh, her soft, "I love you," before bed, and wonder how long those words were lies. I don't hate her anymore, but I'll never forget how betrayal doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it smiles, kisses you goodnight, and lives a second life right under your nose. The shocking truth wasn't just that my wife cheated, it was that I never really knew her at all.